let me see. Okay, race 3 goes there, and yeah, Abramintes Antarctica is here.
You're still not done?
Just some last minute arrangements. You know, these top 10 lists are holy to people, and I want to be certain that I got things right.
Okay, fair point.
Okay, Vishwarupam 2, yeah, here, and okay. Two Blight goes there. Okay, I'm done. Let's get started.
Servus Freunde, my name's Jimmy Cage.
And I'm Deniz, the Buddymeister.
And first of all, thank you all so much. As of right now, we've reached 10,000 subscribers on the channel.
Now we are at 5 digits, Jimmy.
And it's still quite unreal to me that there are over 10,000 people out there who thought it would be a good idea to follow our reviews and also to keep up with our silly intros.
Yes, me too. Thank you all so much, especially the ones who've stuck with us the longest. I often see a lot of comments from people who have been here for ages now.
Absolutely. I started doing movie reviews on YouTube in the summer of 2015 and you joined me sometime later. We really began to delve into Indian movies starting in 2017 and now we've seen about 100.
So we thought it would be a cool idea to do a little top 10 episode for the 10k subscribers special.
Now I think it goes without saying that our list is absolutely no definitive ranking. We are only able to talk about the movies we've seen so far, but maybe you are interested which one are our favorites.
This might also be a good list for people who are new to Indian cinema as well and who want to know some definite recommendations. And if you want to know more about each film we mention, you are of course welcome to check out our reviews since we talked about all of them before. But without further ado, let's get started.
सागराने नाविका मनी संकट मोठे पेरले वादळाने होडीस एकादश दिशांनी घेरले.
Number 10. Kela.
This wonderful and subtle 2014 Marathi language coming-of-age movie tells the story of an 11-year-old boy who has just lost his father and is forced to adapt to a new school in a small village.
It takes us right to the beautiful Konkan coast. The pillars and the depths of friendship are tested and revealed through themes like exploration and letting go of the past. The superb child actors, most notably Archie Deodar and Parth Balerao, make the inherently identifiable story even more vivid and vibrant.
To this date, Kela is the single directorial work of Avinash Arun, who was also responsible for the breathtaking cinematography.
And because these top 10 lists can never exist without at least some honorable mentions, we will recommend another 5 films that almost made the cut.
The first one being the 2016 Marathi language drama Nat Samrat, which was directed by Mahesh Manjrekar.
It stars Nana Patekar, who is delivering a tour de force as the retired and angst-ridden stage actor Ganpat. This play-turned-movie is powerful and poetic, thoughtful and of course very theatrical. Mahesh Manjrekar's adaptation of playwright Kusumagraj's iconic Marathi play is a feast for the eyes and the ears. A challenging but greatly rewarding movie that demands multiple viewings to fully perceive the many Shakespearean layers that it consists of.
But now for our number 9. Number 9. Buffy. This one is on me. Almost all of the films on our list have been watched by both of us, but only I've seen the 2012 Hindi language romantic comedy drama Buffy. And to be honest, I think this one wouldn't appeal so much to you. It's very cheesy, schmaltzy and melodramatic and I loved it. It's set in the 1970s and tells the story of 3 young people and how their love for each other is affected by society's definition of normal and abnormal. It was directed by Anurag Basu and it stars Ranbir Kapoor as Buffy, a man whose hearing and speech are impaired. He falls in love with the lovely Shruti, played by Liana De Cruz, but social norms and the pressure by her parents are too much for her to allow this relationship and instead she chooses a normal man and a normal life.
Tell me more.
Well, enter Priyanka Chopra as Jilmil, and just thinking about her character and her performance almost makes me tear up again. Jilmil herself is also different, she's autistic and she also had a big crush for Buffy ever since childhood. Now, the whole movie is this beautiful love and adventure story and many parts of it play almost like a silent movie since both our protagonists, Buffy and Jilmil, don't communicate that much with words, but with gestures, body language, their eyes and actions, and it's simply wonderful.
Our second honorable mention is the Hindi language crime thriller Andhadhun. It was a real surprise and one of the best films of 2018. Sriram Raghavan's inventive endeavor of a blind piano player who witnesses a murder is equally quirky and visceral, serious and fun. It's that successful tonal balance and the intense acting by Ayushmann Khurrana and his peers that make Andhadhun a gripping thriller from beginning to end. It's always going forward and never looking back, and that results in many nail-biting moments that you won't forget that easily.
And the next movie on our list is
Number 8. Bangalore Days.
Bangalore Days is a 2014 Malayalam language romantic coming-of-age film that tells the story of three cousins who set out to fulfill their dreams in Bangalore. It was written and directed by Anjali Menon, and it falls in a category that we like to coin Malayalam chill, because it has this specific lean-back atmosphere that just lets you be part of other people's lives for the amount of its runtime.
And it's quite a long runtime. Bangalore Days is almost 3 hours long, and it often shifts focus from one person to the next and how they are dealing with their life, growing up, falling in love, chasing job opportunities, and finding out who they are and what they want in life.
Those three cousins are played by Nasriya Nazim, Nivin Pauli and Dulquer Salman, and in supporting roles we also have Fahad Fazil and Parvati.
To be completely honest, I don't remember the actual story all that well, but I do remember the tone of it and how I felt while watching.
Absolutely. It beautifully captures the shift in life from being an adolescent to become an adult. It's melancholic and hopeful, romantic and funny, and also a bit adventurous.
Our next honorable mention is another Malayalam movie, so you might recognize a pattern here, but unfortunately I haven't seen it, so the floor is yours, Jimmy.
Yeah, this one was really a shame because I saw it on the big screen here in Vienna, and I'm pretty sure it would have been a movie for you as well. The film's title is Kumbalangi Nights, and for me it's kind of the unofficial counterpart to Bangalore Days. It was directed by Madhu C. Narayanan, and it tells the story of four brothers who share a love-hate relationship with each other. Once again, what we like to call Malayalam chill, with a very calm and soothing rhythm. It's realistic but also poetic, and it has a lot of local flavor. And on top of its immersive atmosphere and nice music, it also features Fahad Fazil and Subin Shahir in two of their best roles,
which you can learn more about in Jimmy's review. But now for our official number 7, which is another film I haven't seen.
Number 7. Paranboo. This one would have probably been higher if both of us had seen it. Paranboo is a Tamil language drama that was written and directed by Ram. It was released in February and it's still my favorite film of the year, so far. It just totally destroyed me in the best way possible. It stars the great Mammootty as a single father who tries to raise his spastic 14-year-old daughter. The title Paranboo means compassion, and this film is a plea for all of us to be compassionate, caring and loving. It's an incredibly brave, beautiful and groundbreaking film, and I kept getting surprised of how far it went throughout the film, especially with one of India's biggest movie stars of all time at the helm. The film tackles a lot of different taboos: sexuality, menstruation, trans people, religion and so on, and it's not preachy or cheesy but absolutely unique and heartwarming. It's one of the few films that can really have a great effect on your life, and I thought way more about it than other films, and I still do.
Our Tamil language honorable mention is already a little bit older and also the only movie in this video that we haven't uploaded a review for yet, but it's done and will be up very soon.
The movie is Mani Ratnam's 1992 romantic thriller Roja. It tells the story of a young woman and her husband that gets kidnapped by terrorists. But the story isn't what stood out in this film. The cinematography is outstanding and has been done by one of India's best, Santosh Sivan.
Another famous name is that of the composer. Roja was the debut of A.R. Rahman and the music is simply fantastic. Not just the song and dance sequences, which are out of this world, beautiful and also super long, but the overall score is great and its range goes from suspenseful thriller segments to romantic love themes.
It's a pretty gorgeous movie and we will talk about it more in the future. But now for our next pick.
Number 6. Tumbat. Let me tell you something, this was actually my personal number 1, but sometimes Jimmy is crazy and somehow it ended up on 6.
Which is a good place for this outstanding film from 2018, an altogether great year for Hindi cinema. Tumbat is this rare horror movie that creeps and crawls down your back and into your head and bones. It will leave its mark on you, that's for sure.
It was directed by Rahi Anil Barve and it has an incredibly haunting atmosphere. The strange and enigmatic horror that slowly unravels in front of your eyes, paired with a dark and brooding score that gives you chills, make Tumbat a really epic and exceptional experience. And it also makes you think, because at its core, Tumbat is a morality tale about the unforgiving greed of mankind.
Our Hindi language honorable mention makes your skin crawl as well. It is Anurag Kashyap's 2013 mystery crime drama Ugly.
We watched a few Anurag Kashyap movies by now and Ugly has become our favorite. It didn't quite make the top 10, but an honorable mention is definitely appropriate for this gritty, dark and sinister thriller that presents us characters that are in no way role models or good-hearted, but rather shady and extremely dangerous.
Kashyap's very distinct style of filmmaking fits the story of a missing girl and a cop who tries to find her perfectly. At the same time, the big egos and repressed emotions of our characters are carefully examined and in the end relentlessly exposed.
But that was it with the honorable mentions. Now we're delving into our top 5 best Indian movies.
So far.
Number 5. Eega.
Just listen to this synopsis. A murdered man is reincarnated as a housefly and seeks to revenge his death.
And it's one of the most epic, most crazy and definitely most fun films you can imagine.
Or can't imagine until you've seen it with your own eyes. We did a special Buddy Loves Tollywood episode on this one and it was worth all the effort because S.S. Rajamouli's 2012 Telugu language action revenge comedy is out of this world.
It's full of creative ideas, great cinematography, a fantastic villain played by Sudeep, and overall it's just pure fun and cinematic splendor.
Director S.S. Rajamouli has always been a very out-of-the-box filmmaker, but Eega is something else completely, and this movie also proved that he can create something truly amazing with a bigger budget, and his very next project was Baahubali.
Which might or might not appear on this list.
Number 4. Sarat.
I promise you, this will be the last film on the list that I haven't seen.
Sarat is a 2016 romantic drama that was written and directed by Nagraj Manjula. It was my first exposure to Marathi language cinema and it left a huge impact on me. It tells the story of two people falling in love, two people from two different social backgrounds, and they need to flee because of their affection for each other. Or rather, because the rich family of the girl can't accept her relationship with a boy from a lower caste.
It is the second film by Nagraj Manjula after Fandri, and from what you've told me, the themes are very similar. Both function as powerful critiques of social structures, and specifically the caste system in India.
Sarat is a poetic and beautiful film that's both realistic and intimate, and big and vast with orchestral music and great landscapes. A true marvel, and it also has one of the most memorable endings I've ever seen.
कहीं दूर जब दिन ढल जाए सांझ की दुल्हन बदन चुराए चुपके से आए.
Number 3. Anand.
Hey, Murarilal!
A few days before last year's Christmas, we wanted to do something special, and therefore we picked the number 1 best rated Indian movie on the IMDb, which is also the oldest Hindi film we've seen so far.
Rishikesh Mukherjee's Anand tells the story of a terminally ill man played by the legendary Rajesh Khanna, who wants to live life to the fullest before he dies. It's a film about an inspiring human being who shows us how precious life is. What sounds like a manipulative and soppy movie is actually a very touching and emotional parable on life that covers themes like love, friendship and mortality in a light-footed way with a mite of melancholy and bittersweetness. The beautiful and moving songs do the rest for this absolute masterpiece.
It also stars Amitabh Bachchan as Kana's character's good friend, and despite the serious subject matter, Anand is very fun and cheerful in many moments. It has a strong message about giving joy to each other, and I think it's a film that's very easy to relate to and get something out of.
There's certainly a reason why it made the number 1 on IMDb, and why it landed this high on our own list. Number 2, Baahubali, The Beginning, and the conclusion. We know it's a little bit cheating, but we just had to include both Baahubali movies on our list.
S.S. Rajamouli, whose Eega we already talked about, was really our entry point into Indian cinema. In terms of my love for movies, there's a point before I saw Baahubali and there's a point after I saw it. And I wouldn't want to miss the knowledge and the experience that there is such a crazy and awesome type of cinema on this big scale out there.
The first part, which we also did a very special review for, was released in 2015, and the second came out in 2017, which luckily we had the chance to see on the big screen here in Vienna, in a pretty packed cinema.
The Baahubali movies are larger than life. They are full of great spectacle, but also great emotions, memorable characters, and also performances, and the music and the songs are still so fresh in my mind. In fact, I worked out to the soundtrack many times.
Rajamouli takes us on this big, epic adventure that spans several decades. We witness the father, Baahubali, and the son, Shivudu, both played by Prabhas, on their quest of becoming the hero this world needs. It's a historical fantasy action movie, masala in the best way possible. You get romance, thrilling action scenes, comedic moments, breathtaking song and dance numbers, big epic war battles, and above all, that special S.S. Rajamouli touch. This pure creative joy that's exploding in every single scene.
In a Rajamouli movie you never quite know what will happen next, and he seems to always have another great idea up his sleeve.
If you haven't seen it yet, do yourself a favor and discover something that's truly different from all the regular stuff that's showing at cinemas.
But now for our number 1 best Indian movie
so far.
Number 1. The Appu Trilogy.
And we're cheating again. It would have been a bit easier to split these 3 movies apart as opposed to Baahubali 1 and 2, but we simply didn't want to occupy 3 places with movies by Satyajit Ray. By taking the trilogy as one, we were able to talk about and recommend more films to you.
As of right now, Pata Panchali, Aparachito and Appu Sansa are the only Satyajit Ray movies that we have seen, but we are very sure that many more might make this list in the future once we delve deeper into his filmography.
The Appu Trilogy is one of the most beloved and important trilogies of all time, and rightfully so. Satyajit Ray takes us on a journey that begins with little Appu in Patar Panchali, to teenage Appu in Aparajito, to adult Appu in Appur Sansar. We experience the full spectrum of human life. We witness birth and death, and we get to live with young children and old people. We witness the hardships of life. Poverty, hunger, the fight for survival. But our eyes are also spoiled with all the wonders and joys that the world has to offer. Rai's loving and keen eye captures life in a breathtaking way, and it's almost unbelievable that Patar Panchali was the first film for director of cinematography Subrata Mitra, because the camera work is simply outstanding, as the film looks as Rai is painting with light and shadows.
And it was Satyajit Ray's debut film as well, and for me it's still the best of the 3. Patar Panchali came out in 1955, and it's a beautiful, impressive film. It won the Best Human Document Award at the Cannes Film Festival, and from that point onwards, Bengali filmmaker Satyajit Ray was meant to leave a huge mark on the history of cinema.
The second film was released just 1 year later, and it continues the journey of Appu and his mother. While the first one was completely set in rural India, the second one takes us to the city, and we discover a different side of India. It's about growing up, learning to be on your own, and about the pain of a grieving mother who has to let go of her only child.
Aparachito is not as raw as Patar Panchali, which I always tend to gravitate towards, but it's also a beautiful work of cinema.
The third and final film, which is my favorite, is Appu Sansar, which means the world of Appu. It was released in 1959 and it is possibly the most advanced when it comes to the technicalities and also to the acting performances. Sumitra Chatterjee is fantastic as the grown-up Appu. He became a regular in Rai's movies, playing roles in 15 of his films, and he also became one of India's most beloved actors in general. And in Appu Sansar we see him for the very first time on screen.
The music of all three films was composed by Ravi Shankar, and the way he uses the sitar is so wonderful and moving.
The identification potential that these three movies offer is sheer endless. Who hasn't explored the world and seen it as a big playground like Little Appu in Pather Panchali? Who hasn't dealt with loss or the pain to leave someone behind like Appu in Aparajito? And who hasn't stood on the crossways of life not knowing how to go on like Appu in Appu Sansar? As Appu has grown in the course of the movies, we have grown watching him.
Beautifully said. So that's it for today. We hope you enjoyed this special episode and aren't too mad about our rankings. Here are all the titles once again.
But now we would love to hear your top 10 lists, especially to put some more movies up on our watch list.
Yeah, because it's not long enough as it is. Just kidding. Please let us know.
And also let us know if there is anything you really want to ask us, as a bonus thank you video for all your support and this 10k milestone. We want to do a Q&A episode in a few weeks.
Just write your questions in the comments below and we will answer them in that video. Until then, you can hit me up on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram simply at @TheJimmyCage.
And you can hit me up simply at the Buddymeister.
And as always, if you enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. And make sure you hit that bell for all we have to tell.